circles, rims on my coat. They really spin in circles, yes circles, not squares. But can put one in a circle, diameter, circumference, and radius make up my circle. My circle consists of anything. Let's go. Hello and welcome to the Kearney Math Show. Thank you all for tuning in today. On today's episode of the Kearney Math Show, we are going to be featuring 2D and 3D figures. This is entry number 8. So before you get started, if you'll go ahead and write entry number 8 at the top of your bowling review. Okay, so the top part, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like for you to take a moment, pause your video, and I want you to go in and try to fill in as many of these formulas as you can. And then when you're finished, click play and see if you got the formulas correct. So go ahead and pause the video and fill in as many formulas as you can. Okay, let's see if you got it. Area of a circle. For area of a circle, A, remember area, apple, pie, really, rocks. A equals pi times radius. Remember, radius is halfway across the circle. For circumference starts with a C. Chocolate pie is delicious. And just to remind you, radius is halfway across our circle. The word diameter has that keyword dia, like a diagonal, that goes all the way across a circle. So diameter. Okay, formula for area of a square. A equals base times height. Remember that base and height need to be perpendicular to one another. Remember, the height needs to be standing nice and tall. Area of a rectangle. A equals base times height again. Now, area of a triangle, think about a triangle is basically half of a rectangle. So we take our formula for a rectangle, A equals base times height, and since triangle is half of that, we're going to divide by 2. Okay? Now, a trapezoid. A trapezoid is also very similar to a rectangle, where we have the base and the height, but instead of having just one base, we have those 2 bases. Okay, so what we're needing to do is we're needing to find the average of those 2 bases. So how do you find the average of something? You add them up and you divide by how many numbers you have. So we're going to do base 1 plus base 2. Then we're going to multiply times the height, and to find the average, we're going to divide by 2. Now remember, your height must be perpendicular to the base. Area of a parallelogram. A equals base times height. Volume of a prism. Remember the difference between a prism and a pyramid. Prism has the base that's being repeated throughout the whole shape. A pyramid has that one base and then it comes to a point. So the volume of a prism, if I'm filling it up, I want to find that first layer, which is my big B. Okay, so V of a prism is big B times H, where big B is the area of the base, and H is the height of the prism. Now, a pyramid, we learned when we were doing our water pouring, is that sometimes the pyramid has the same base and has the same height, but it doesn't hold the same amount of water. And how many times bigger did we find that the prism was than the pyramid? We found that it was 3 times bigger. So the pyramid means it's 3 times smaller. So I'm going to take the same formula and do V pyramid. And we're doing big B times H still, but it's 3 times smaller, so we're going to divide by 3. Big B is still the area of the base. H is still the height of the pyramid. Okay? Now, I want to put a special note down here. Your base and height must form a right angle. Okay, so if you're given a lot of different dimensions and you don't know which one's the base and which one's the height, look for the two that form a right angle with each other. Because remember, when you go to the doctor, when they get your height, you're not leaning, you're standing nice and tall. Same thing with shapes. When we're trying to find the height, we want the one that's standing nice and tall and forming that right angle. Okay? Next, when we talked about 3D figures, we talked about something called a cross section. And that's when we got to play with Play-Doh. And you remember we made those 3D shapes and then we sliced it with our very scientific mathematical slicing device. And we looked at the shape on the inside. And that 2D shape on the inside was our cross section. So cross section is the 2D shape that results from slicing a 3D figure. Okay, so if we take and we slice a 3D figure, that 2D shape that you see on the inside. And remember, we learned that if you take a prism and you slice it parallel to the base, you're always going to get the same shape as the base. Okay? So, as you work through these, I really want you guys, I want to see you marking the text. And when I say mark the text, what I want to see is I want to see you boxing in the question and writing what you want to know. And then write down any keywords. Like if you see the word circumference, write your formula. If you see the word volume, write your formula. Okay? So let's consider number 26. Okay, so number 26 says the circumference, so that's a keyword. Circumference of a circle is 188 meters. What is the approximate radius of the circle? So I see that keyword, I'm going to go ahead and write my formula because I know that I'm going to need the formula. And I also want to box in my question. So what is the approximate radius of a circle? So I want to know, what is it asking me for? The radius. So I'm not going to stop until I find the radius. Now, I might have to find the diameter first, but I can't stop until I get that radius. Okay, so it tells me the circumference, so we said our formula was C equals pi times diameter is 188. So in your formula, C equals pi times D, what part of that stands for circumference? The C. So we're going to put 188 where the C is. So 188 equals, we know pi is approximately 3.14 times diameter. Now, this is an equation, so we can work backwards to solve. How would you figure out what your 3.14 times diameter would give you 188? How would you work backwards? What's happening with 3.14 and the D? They're being multiplied, so the opposite is to divide. And you may use a calculator, so 188 divided by 3.14, and I get approximately 5.7. Yep, excuse me, I typed that in wrong. That didn't seem right. 188 divided by 3.14. I get approximately 59.8, which we could say is approximately 60. Now, let's go back to our want to know. What was our want to know? The radius. Have I found the radius? No, I found the diameter. So how is the diameter related to the radius? The diameter is twice as long. So if my diameter is 60, my radius is going to be half of that, which is 30 meters. Okay, so we can divide by 2 to find my radius, which is 30. Okay, so my answer is A. Go back to your want to know. Did we find the radius? Yes. So as you go through these problems, what I want to see is you marking the text. And what I mean by marking the text in math is underlining those keywords and writing formulas, boxing in your question, and then writing what you want to know, and always going back and in and saying, have I answered what I want to know? Okay, so know these formulas, guys. You should know them just like that. Okay, and I will be happy to answer any questions you have about your practice. So take this time to go back and complete the rest of the practice and check the answer key when you are finished. All right, guys, good luck. Make me proud. Peace out, rainbow trout. Love ya, mean it.